I joined Christ Gospel Church in 1963. My first convention was 1965. It was a great year for us because it was our beginning experience to actually experience our relationship with Christ Gospel Church and Reverend Hicks. So the anticipation of coming to convention was tremendous. Although it was a great challenge, we had a long ride from Florida up to Jeffersonville, Indiana. We did not have the privilege to stop at any of your well-known hotels and be able to lodge and or to go in a restaurant and be able to take some relaxation to eat and stretch or whatever. We, of course, had to go to the places that was designated for either black or white. We knew what our particular color was, so we knew where to go. We did not have an opportunity to take a night and just rest, but our anticipation and the excitement about coming to convention and getting a chance to hear the Word of God that piqued our interest when I first came, joined the church. So the anticipation actually overrode all of the challenges, and needless to say, when we arrived and started participating in the services, we were ecstatic. We were just ecstatic. So, of course, the elements were there of the society at that time. We did not encounter things necessarily when we got to the church. We were just so involved in being grateful just to be a part of it. I accepted it, or should I say, I was excited about it because I had an opportunity to be among people that I did not necessarily, that I was obvious to me that I had no great animosity about. I was just happy to be a part, but I felt the love, I felt the acceptance, genuine acceptance, not just verbal acceptance. And because we moved together in our worship, and then you could feel the camaraderie, you could feel the love. It was genuine, and it didn't allow me at any time to want to inspect how a person actually felt about me. I was just excited to be here. Being discriminated upon with Christ's gospel was never an issue. I never felt that, and I never saw that. I didn't experience that. I believe because I felt at home. My personal feeling when I started my journey with Christ Gospel Church, it was overwhelming, and it was very real. That inside inspiration that said, "I have come home." So when you're home, you feel relaxed. It's the great anticipation of what this experience held for me. So my outlook on those that were around me was just, I would say, it enhanced my experience. Her reaction was that of a mother to me, in that I think we reciprocated that thing of, here's my child that's come home, along with my feeling that I found my mother. And not in the sense that it was a person up here and I'm down here. Love, to me, does not have that type of caste system. I felt her love. I felt her respect, if you will. I felt that she was the type of person that could look at you and had this value, and for a person to actually genuinely show value in your life, it's unspoken. It's unspoken. It was real. And it's something that I treasure. In 1984, we were looking for property because when we relocated to Florida to continue with the pastorage there, we did not have a place to meet of our own, and we used borrowed property, churches that they allowed us. So every day, my Reverend Jones would go out looking for some location, some property or building or whatever that we could have to purchase. But in 1984, we were still very aware of certain things that were present. You could not shut your eyes to it. You knew that it was a way of life. So we had challenges in trying to find property. He would go looking for property only to be told that, well, the property is not really on the market, or either this property maybe has a proposal on it, or it has maybe a contract. So every day it was this challenge of trying to find something in an area, especially that was totally segregated. When we told Reverend Hicks, we would report to her constantly about what our progress was in trying to find property for the church. And she was made aware again that, well, we are still living in a segregated society, but it was very unacceptable to her because she cared about us. She wanted the best for her parishioners because, of course, we looked at her as our leader as well, although we were the local pastors. So with her being involved in wanting the best for everyone, not just because we were the black church down there. She wanted us to have the right type of setting and be given the right type of respect. So it resonated with her, and she said, well, I'm going to come down and I will go to help you find a place. And she came down and she brought her daughter, Beverly, which was a realtor, and they started looking. The first day she was out looking for property, she rode on the very street that my husband had looked down. He looked on this street and found some property about 2 blocks from where we are now. And as she passed where we are presently, noticed that there was a sign on this property for sale. It had just gone up that day that she decided they went out to look. After seeing that it was available, then they started the proceedings, and the rest is history. We had to stay in the background. She and Beverly took care of the transactions, the documentation. We worked heartily to raise the funds, and it's history now. But we would not have had that privilege had it not been for someone of a different skin color to help us find a place that we could worship, and worship with, freely and not be harassed. We had strong reactions when we moved in because on both sides of the scales, the individuals who were segregated against and those who were the proponents of segregation did not like the fact that you start, as we might say, quote, mixing. And one day when I was out getting the mail from the mailbox, this car rode by and threw out these racial slurs as to the N-word, what are you, and didn't use good language. But understanding the times that we were in, to me it appeared to be not a big deal, but it was a big deal because you knew that, nothing to say, you just still carried on, but you were very aware that you were not accepted by all. Not everyone accepted. No, we had another incident of one of our parishioners the family lived about 2-3 blocks away from the church. And one day they came home and the garage was painted with the N-word and just slurs. And this was painted there so you could read it. And of course the authorities investigated it. Things like that didn't get too far. They said they would watch out for the property. But it was one of those things that we were made aware of, that others before us went through greater things than we did. So we just took it as, well, that's one of the things you have to go through, and we moved forward. We did not try to retaliate or try to act in any manner because we still felt that we were blessed with the property that we were given, or should we say we had worked for. But we would not have had it had it not been for Reverend Hicks that stood and walked all the way with us.